Good morning and welcome to our next instalment of Active Camp at Home. Today we're going to look at a gymnastics session with you, and we're going to go through a few different shapes, balances and rolls, and we're going to try to create our own little part sequence. And I want you to decide it yourself, and maybe in the comments below send in your attempts to us. Okay? So the first thing we need to do before we do any activities is a little stretching. So first thing I want you to do is get your legs nice and wide, and I'm going to reach down in front of us, try to touch the floor. You're probably a lot more flexible than me, so I'd like you to try and touch the floor and then hold that for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then move it slightly back in between your legs and hold it for another 5. And if you can you reach behind your legs and try and touch the floor again, and hold it for 5 again. Okay, and then the next one I would like us to do is we're going to just stretch our triceps, so the back of our arms. So we're going to bring our arm across our front and the other arm locked behind our elbow, and we're just going to pull that and hold that for 5 seconds as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then swap arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then finally we'll go and do a little groin stretch, just because we are going to be using our groins. So I want you to put 1 foot forward with your toes pointing the wall or whichever object in your house, and your other one pointing the opposite way, just like me. And if you just lean into that and hold it for 5, and then swap over and do it the opposite way around. Perfect. Okay. The first thing we're going to do now is we're going to look at a few different shapes. So I've got 4 that I want us to try, and we can use these in any part of our little sequence. Okay. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to look at something called a straddle. So what I want you to do is sit down on the floor like me, keep your back nice and straight, and then we're going to extend our legs as far wide as we possibly can. Okay, keeping our legs as straight as we can and our toes pointed at the end. And also with our hands out in front of us, and keep those fingers pointing nice and straight, keeping our back nice and straight. And can we hold this for 3 seconds? With each of our balances and our shapes, we need to try and hold them for 3 seconds before moving on to our next one. So we'll count it together. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And then our next one, we're going to bring our legs together this time, keeping our back nice and straight, and we're going to go into something called a pike. So keeping our toes pointed again, we're going to have our arms up above our heads, fingers pointed again, arms nice and straight, and our legs nice and straight and together, and hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. And our next one that we're going to look at is something called a tuck. So what you're going to do is you're going to make yourself into a little bit of a ball. Okay, so you're going to bring your knees together, bring them as close as you possibly can, try and get your heels to touch your bottom, bring that nice and tight. One hand, your right hand is going to go on your right knee, and your left hand is going to go on your left kneecap. Try and tuck your chin into your chest and make yourself as small as you possibly can, and then hold that for 3 seconds as well. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And then the final one, we can do this either stood up or sat down. But we're going to try it, sat down / led down. We're going to try it led down, and then we'll do it stood up. So we can do a star shape, which I'm sure we all can do. So legs nice and wide, and arms off to a diagonal angle, trying to touch the corners of the room with our fingers, and hold that for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, stood up. The same again, legs shoulder width apart, and arms try to touch the corners and where the wall and your ceilings meet in your house. Okay, and hold that for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Give those a go. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is our balances. Okay, so we're going to look at 4 different balances. The first one we're going to do is one called a dish. Okay, so that really needs us to lie down on our backs, our legs out in front and nice and straight, and our arms just above our head, right above our shoulders. We're going to need our toes pointed again and our fingers, and we're going to lift our legs just up off the floor, keeping them nice and straight and together, and our toes pointed and our arms doing the same. it's going to make us tense our stomach muscles. Okay, so if you feel a little bit of pain in there, do not panic and hold that for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, brilliant. Then our next one that we're going to do is the arch, and this is just the reverse of the dish. Okay, so you're going to go on your front, and then your legs are going to come up, and so are your arms. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky again, and it's just going to work on that stomach muscle and a little bit of your lower back. Okay, so you're going to lie on your front, arms out in front, legs nice and straight, toes up off the floor, and then our arms up. And hold for 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay, the next one that we're going to look at is a little bit more tricky, and it's something we call a shoulder stand. Okay, so you're going to start off sat on your bottom, and you're going to lie on and stand up with your legs up in the air and onto your shoulders. Okay, and there's 2 ways we can support our bodies. We can either support our lower back, or we can hold onto the floor, and I'll show us both ways. Okay, so I want you to start by being led with your knees bent, and all you're going to do is you're going to put your feet up into the air and then push up, try and touch the ceiling. You can support your back just as I am, with your elbows touching the floor. That's one way. Keep your feet nice and straight and just up onto our shoulders, or if you feel more comfortable, have our arms flat on the floor like so. Okay, and then back to our sitting position. And our final balance is one that is really tricky, and I might just get wrong. So it's something we call an arabesque. Okay, so we're going to stand up on one foot and we're going to lean forward. Okay, so first starting off with our arms out and balancing on one leg. Once we've done that, we're going to start to bring our other leg out straight behind us and our chest nice and low. And we're going to try and make ourselves as horizontal as we possibly can. Okay, and hold that for 3. 1, 2, 3. Remember to point those toes that I was forgetting just then. Okay, and give that a go. So the next part of our session is going to be our rolling. Okay, so we're going to look at 3 different rolls. The first one we're going to do is a teddy bear roll. So I want you to get yourself into a straddle position, so your toes pointed and your legs nice and straight in a wide position. For the teddy bear roll, keep your back nice and straight, hold on to your legs as you're going, and you want to roll down onto whichever side you find most comfortable, onto your shoulder to hit the floor first, and then once your shoulder hits the floor, roll onto your back and your legs will rotate with there. So we're going to go down, around, and up. That wasn't the best, then we'll try again. Down, round and up, back into there. So we'll try that one more time, okay? So down onto your shoulder, onto your back, and you should go turn a full half, and then again, back and around. Okay, so that's our teddy bear roll. The next one we're going to look at is our egg roll. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get into a tuck position, but we're going to kneel on our hands, and we're going to get nice and tight, and then all we're going to do, we're going to roll in our tuck position over and do a full roll up, then roll until we come back onto our knees. Okay, so nice and tight, try not to break that egg, and then roll, and then back into that position. Okay, and our final roll that we will be doing is our log roll. So we're going to start off in either our dish or our arch position, whichever you feel most comfortable in. And what we're going to do, we're going to do a full roll until we come back to the other one. Okay, so we'll start off in our dish, and all we're going to do is we're going to roll, go into the arch, and then back to the dish. Okay, try those. Thank you. Right, so our next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put all of our different components that we've looked at through the video into our own little sequence. So in this sequence, I want you to include 5 different what shapes, rolls and balances. I want it to be at least one of each. So at least 1 roll, 1 shape and 1 balance. And then with the other 2 that we have spare, you can include any one of the previous ones that we've looked at that you've quite liked. So the one I've gone for is that I'm going to do a straddle, then a teddy bear roll, then into a pike, then a shoulder stand, and then in a tuck position to finish. Okay, so once you're doing them, remember to hold your shapes and your balances for 3 seconds at a time before moving on to your next one. And as you're planning them in your head, try to make them as smooth as possible, which sometimes is easier said than done, as I'll probably show, it won't be as smooth as I'd like it to be, but I'll give it a good go. Okay? So, first of all, we need to start and present ourselves as you do in gymnastics. So you're going to stand up, hands up, hold that, and then go and get into your first position. So my first position will be straddle. So toes pointed, legs nice and straight, back straight, and arms out in front, keeping our fingers and our toes pointed. I'm going to hold that for 3 seconds. Then we're going to move into our teddy bear roll. Then into the pike. Then into the shoulder stand. Then into the tuck. And that's the sequence done. Okay, so if you want to have a go at this and video your attempts and send them in to us, please do. And I'm sure, I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm sure you do really, really well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.